Support for this show comes from Lead Quizzes. Lead Quizzes helps you easily set up high-converting quizzes to capture and qualify leads for your business. Visit leadquizzes.com/podcast to get a 14-day free trial today.
I've got everything I need, everything I want. So really now it's about how can I spend the next 50 years of my life really mastering an industry. And so with that mindset, I'm not thinking, how much money will I make on this post? Or how much money will this celebrity make me? I'm thinking, how little will this celebrity lose for me? And so when you start to think in that way, you become really dangerous, especially when you have decently sized pockets to be able to invest in your business. You become dangerous. The competitors are kind of scared of you because you know what you're doing. And if they try to play your game, it's very tough for them because they don't know how to lose money as well as you.
From Lead Quizzes, it's Journey to Seven Figures, a show about entrepreneurs and the stories behind how they grew their business to seven figures and beyond. We cover the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the lessons they learned along the way. Welcome back to Journey to Seven Figures. Today I'm interviewing Josh Elizetxe, founder of Snow Teeth Whitening. Snow is a new teeth whitening system. It's an FDA-approved device that you put in your mouth for 10 minutes a day for guaranteed whitening results with no sensitivity. Josh started Snow Teeth Whitening in 2016, has partnered with influencers like Rob Gronkowski, Chuck Liddell, Floyd Mayweather, and has grown it to multi-millions in revenue their first year of business, on track for $20 million in 2018 at just 25 years old. Very excited to interview Josh today and learn about his journey to seven figures. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jeremy, thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right. So Josh, how does a 25-year-old get interested and involved in this teeth whitening space?
Initially, I was 14 years old when I started my first business, and I was looking for any edge I had to kind of make myself stand out. And so I would deepen my voice on phone calls with clients and just figuring out ways to, dress up in a suit, ways that were kind of distracting away from my age. And everybody knows that you can only make a first impression once, and the focus is on the smile. And so growing up, I was kind of self-conscious about my smile. I had an underbite. It wasn't super apparent, but I didn't smile the same way as other people. And so one kind of way for me to stand out was to have a wider, confident smile. And I realized that when I would whiten my teeth, I felt more confident. People complimented me on my smile, which I had never gotten before because I had an underbite. Last year, I had jaw surgery. So it fixed the alignment of my jaw and all of that. And so I have a new mouth, so to speak. But I realized that with whitening my teeth, I felt more confident. And I realized that in business, confidence, especially when you're selling, is so important. And so anyway, that started about 10 years ago. And over the years, I've tried white strips. I tried dental treatments, and they were either too expensive for me to keep up with, or they caused horrible sensitivity and just weren't very convenient for me. And so after a while, I came back to this point after selling my last business. I was like, I want to build brands that I'm personally interested in, something that I see myself doing for decades, and really building something massive. And so recognizing how large the oral care market is, how lacking the innovation was there, and my personal experience having gone through braces multiple times, jaw surgery, teeth whitening, all of this. I said, what if we had a professional treatment that was done at home? You didn't need a prescription, you need to go to the dentist, but they truly gave you results that you could control. And so that's when we started on that quest to figure out the formula, working with chemists and formulators to figure that out first, and then backing that up with technology and starting with just a very simple product initially to test that out. And once we figured out what our customers really wanted, really doubling down on the technology and the research to build a real business. So that's where it started, and that's where we are now. I still feel like we're just getting started, but we have some really amazing products, and our customers love what we've created. So it's going well so far.
Awesome. Okay, so Josh, how do you get started with a product like this? Maybe you can describe it a little bit, and like how much did it cost to kind of invest in, and like what were your first steps towards getting started with it?
Yeah, so I wanted to do it right. So I knew that we could kind of go and try to private label something or do what someone else was doing. In fact, Crest, their patents expired on the white strip, putting the whitening serum on a strip. And so that was opportunities like, oh, we could try to do what everyone else has been doing, or we could try to radically be different. And we realized that on the chemical level, that there was a lot of room for improvement to help with sensitivity, particularly to help whiten teeth that aren't typically whitened, to not cause harm against braces or anything like that. And so we found a lot of opportunity there. So I spent probably about $100,000 just working with doctors and formulators and chemists to, on a consulting basis, to understand their experience and how we could innovate. And so spending $100,000 just on that side, and then going and figuring out how we could innovate the actual technology side of things. And what we realized is that people were whitening while they were on their phone, kind of checking Instagram, whatever, late at night. And we said, why couldn't the whitening device and the activating light be powered by your mobile device? And so that's when we innovated there to have the ability to plug it into your smartphone. And then what I found after investigating all the products in the market and giving that to our consultants, we found that the majority of light activated systems on the market don't actually do anything. The light there is just more of a gimmick to sell the product. And they weren't taking advantage of the actual LED wavelength. And on the chemical level, they weren't taking advantage of that. So we realized that if we created something that actually worked, that actually took advantage of the technology available, that we thought that people would be willing to invest more in their smile for a result that lasted and didn't cause bad side effects. And it turns out that people were fed up of white strips. They're fed up of going to dentists. Nobody's excited about running to the dentist, but they wanted white teeth. So they're kind of stuck in that middle. And they've got all this teeth work done. They don't want to mess that up either. So we kind of found our groove within that. But you're looking at probably a few $100,000 with inventory, research and development, consulting. I really wanted to put my other businesses, I started for a few $1,000s. My very first business started for $20. But for this one, this was kind of a snowball. And I realized the market's big, a lot of competitors. I really wanted to put our best foot forward. And in this case, when you're working with, FDA and all this stuff, it gets expensive after a while.
Okay. Awesome. So how do you even know who to go to start consulting with this? Hey, let's start there.
Yeah. So there's a website called clarity.fm, which is a great resource. You can go on there and you can consult with business consultants, medical consultants. And then I went on Upwork as well and looking for people that were credentialed. Did they go to Harvard, Princeton, trying to find the best of the best. And then I went on LinkedIn and I started searching through their networks and finding other people and reaching out to them. And then I just started asking around too. And so just through all of that, I was able to find a core team, so to speak, that I could bounce ideas off of with various levels of experience: oral surgery, dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, formulators, chemists, and people that have worked with some of the large oral care companies. And so I was able to kind of bounce ideas off of all of them, kind of building my advisory board. And they were really, really keen on what I was building. And they also liked how quickly that we were turning the ideas into action. And so that kind of excited them to want to help us out more because they were through proxy creating products with us. And so one thing I did is I always offered to pay market rate or above market rate. I never tried to cheap out with them. I looked for the very best people. And if I could only afford one of them, I would just get one of them as opposed to 10, quote unquote, not as experienced, maybe mediocre people. I really, really wanted someone who knew exactly what they're talking about so that I could get the competitive advantage. Like Mark Cuban always says, you need to know more about your business, your competition, your product, your market than your competitors. Otherwise, they're going to eat your lunch. And so I really took that to heart and went out and looked for the best advice I could find.
Okay. So you found the best advice. You decide you want to start building this product. How do you start going about manufacturing? What is that process like?
Yeah. So once we figured out what we wanted to create, I started to ask the same advisors if they knew anyone that was in that space of either brokering, manufacturing. And I knew in the beginning that I was going to pay a premium because we're creating something different, but we're also not buying a ton of quantity. So I was willing to pay broker's fees. I was not trying to nickel dime anyone. I wanted the best of the best. And so one of the informal advisors I had worked with someone who worked in that department. And so they reached out and they offered to consult me on an hourly basis to line up manufacturers, test out different samples. And we ended up having to create a complex supply chain. It's the most complex of any of my brands, but it also allows us to get the best from everyone. So for example, the manufacturer who makes our technology, our activating mouthpiece, is different than who formulates and creates our serum, who's different than who creates our travel bag, which is a really nice velvet embroidered by hand bag. We realized if we try to go to one place for everything, that it was going to be subpar of what we were expecting. And our customers expect a very luxury premium experience at a really good value. And so we had to go, right now we have 5 different suppliers where all sourcing from to put into a kit. And so that was just by trial and error, asking, getting samples. And you could tell pretty quickly, you're like, okay, this manufacturer pays attention to detail. It feels good. I want more from them. Just going around and ask as much as possible. There's places like Alibaba, you can go for packaging and looking things up like that. There are a lot of onshore suppliers that you can just Google. Like we went and we typed in soft shell packaging supplier, talking to them, getting pricing, and then just going around and then bringing that pricing to our advisors and asking, is this something reasonable? I found some pretty good advisors on clarity.fm that had consumer packaged goods experience, so CPG. And so I literally just typed in CPG and clarity.fm and asked them, what do the margins need to be if we want to sell in Sephora, Ulta, Nordstrom, Target, what makes sense? And those are the same people that if you show them that you're actually putting into action and you're making fast moves, that they want to help you more. And so now they're like, oh my gosh, well, I actually know the Sephora buyer. Let's talk to Sephora, or this product should be in Sephora. So those conversations start to happen from that. So you pay them to get their advice, but if they like you and they like what you're doing, they're going to want to continue to help you. And so those initial strangers that I contacted for a few $100 to help me out have become informal advisors for the company and are very vital to us being able to innovate in this market.
That's great. Josh, did you make any bad manufacturing hires when you guys were first getting started?
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant struggle, I think, in all industries, but particularly in consumer product goods, in low technology. So now we're a high tech business because of our new model, which I'll do a little sneak peek for here. Our new model is a fully high tech product. So we've got 5 patents. We've learned about doing global patents now. So particularly in China, Taiwan, areas where people are likely to try to rip you off. What I learned is that when you're starting out, even though I was in a different position when I was starting out, I had the money to invest and all that, you're still relatively unknown. And so people will take advantage of you. They'll try to take advantage of you. So for me, I knew hiring advisors, consultants. I read every book that I could get my hands on, every podcast I could get my ears on, so that I could have that advantage of understanding if I'm getting screwed over or not. With that being said, even with all that preparation, there were still... So what'll happen is if you're manufacturing electronics, for example, in China or Taiwan or Japan, some of the shady suppliers will do is they'll say yes to everything. Like, yes, we could do that. Yes, we could do that. And then they'll go and broker things and they'll get things that aren't the quality that you really expect, but they look like the quality that you would expect. So until you tear them down, you don't really know. And so now our engineering team, which has decades of experience, our engineers are an average age of 50 years old and up. These guys tear down everything that we're looking at to make sure. And now we actually go to China to look at the cases, the bags that they're making, the packaging that we're making. Anything we make in China, we're making sure that it's the highest quality possible. Kind of like how Apple does. Apple's going to make something, they either own the factory or every single hour making sure the quality is there. So I actually send our senior engineering team to China to look at the components on the electronics to make sure that they're the best of the best and all of that. And it's worth it. You're going to spend, $5,000-$10,000 to send someone to China to do that. It's totally worth it because then you end up, if not, you end up with a minimum order quantity of product that you probably can't sell because it's not the quality you expect. And for us, we're really building a lifelong brand in the oral care space. And our brand is very, very important to us. So we want to make sure that whatever we're selling, we can stand behind. And so I've seen brokers try to sell us stuff that isn't authentic, that, they say works a certain way, but doesn't, that is a certain material that feels like that material, but really isn't that material. So now I realize the investment, it costs whatever, $5,000 to get something inspected. I'm going to spend the time to have my team break it down, rip it apart, and catch someone doing something wrong up front than to do it later. So even if you don't want to spend the $5,000, send it in somewhere, break it down yourself, look at it, feel it, educate yourself as much as you can. I'm spending so much time with oral surgeons, dentists, doctors, trying to understand what those pain points are and then listening to our customers. So I'm not a doctor, but by listening to our customers and then relaying that to our advisory board who has the MDs on staff, they're like, okay, this is what needs to be done. And then in between, where our magic sauce is creating a brand and selling what people really want, but it has to work. Teeth whitening is a product where your teeth are either whiter or they're not. And as we expand into toothpaste, mouth rinse, and also skincare as well, which is all around the face, we have to make sure that our technology is top notch because they're putting it in their mouth. If you're putting something in your mouth, I need to make sure it is like NASA grade because I can't sell something that I'm not 100% behind.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that I think that's similar for us. Like with Lead Quizzes, my business partner has a development background, but he's not a developer. And so we had to go out and hire a consultant to vet out the developers we were hiring. So it sounds like you did a similar thing. You found people that could vet this stuff out for you. Was it similar? You found these people on Clarity or on Upwork to help you with this?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And LinkedIn.
Awesome. All right. So you get this product like developed, you finally get it to a point where you feel good about it. So how do you start selling this? Do you do pre-sales? Do you do Kickstarter? How do you get it going?
Yeah. So we knew that, people obviously want whiter teeth, but we didn't know what the price point they were willing to spend. And so we took a big risk in deciding to have our cost of goods be a lot higher, multiples higher than all of our competition, other than the ones that are sold in dental offices. So we recognize that 80% of the procedures for teeth whitening are done in a dental office. And the reason why they're marked up so much is because you have to account for the dentist's time, the hygienist's time, and all of that. So what we realize is that the margin there, so long story short, the margin has to be higher for dentists because you're counting for all of that. We're able to save some money because we're not accounting for that, which allowed us to feel more comfortable in spending more on our cost of goods, which means that we had to still charge more than, white strips is anywhere from $30 to $50, $60. You got some lower end competitors that are $60 to $90, and we're in that $100 to $200 range. And then you've got the dental procedures above that. So what we did initially was run Google AdWords as well as Facebook ads. And we tested different price points to see, we're like, if we sell at this price point, we're barely going to make any profit, but we're going to move product and we're going to learn from our customers. And then if we sell at this higher end, we might get less customers, but higher margins. So we're trying to figure that out. And we found that retail price of $250 to $300 made sense for our product. And then we are constantly running different sales and deals depending on where you see our advertisement for as low as $150 to get the full system. This is the current system. Our new system will be naturally more expensive, but we're spending more on this system here than the price of some of our low-end competitors. But the difference is their products don't work. And if they do, they cause a lot of pain and sensitivity. So no one buys from them again. We would rather spend the time and effort to convince someone to do that, to spend a little bit more on something that worked. So to answer your question, it was AdWords. So going after the direct keywords like teeth whitening system, teeth whitening kit, and seeing why people were buying. And then what I did is as soon as we started getting the first few hundred customers, I called every single one of them up myself to ask them what prompted them to buy. How did they feel about the value of the product? What would they change? And we started taking that feedback in addition to the tens of thousands of reviews we scraped from online from our competitors, and then analyze them based on sentiment analysis and the top complaints, the top positives. That helped guide our product. And then listening to the customers, and they said, we don't like the syringe process because of XYZ. Okay, let's change the delivery method. And so that rapid change month by month allowed us to come up with a product now where we have less than a 0.5% return rate because our serum is just, there's nothing like it in the world. The patents that we're coming out with, no one can touch our product now. So to answer your question, it was scary, I'm not going to lie, to spend that much money per unit, thinking there's no way someone's going to spend $200 to whiten their teeth. And what we realize is that people will spend the money. They just want the results. And if we can give them the results, they will spend the money. They'll invest in themselves. And that was a good learning experience for us. And after AdWords and Facebook started taking off, we actually started to get hit up by celebrity agents. So the agents started hitting us up first. And then that kind of snowballed into what we do now.
Okay. So is Google Analytics or Google Ads and Facebook, is that still a major channel, or then did you switch to this influencer model next?
Well, it's definitely still a big channel. We spend several $1 million on Facebook ads, which is also Instagram. But the way we do it now, so for Google, a lot of our sales are just people typing in our brand name. We don't do a ton of bidding outside of that because we're still building our brand. Our brand is a very visual product. You see the celebrities using it, before, afters. There's not a lot you can get with Google ads in the search area. So we do a lot more on YouTube ads, which is still Google, but YouTube, we're able to showcase the product a lot more premium. So we do YouTube there. And then on the Facebook ads side, we still do a lot of cold prospecting for our customers, but we do a lot with our celebrities now. So the partners that, own equity in our business that are celebrities, we have access to their Facebook profiles and assets to be able to run ads from there. And so we do a lot more of branded, really integrated stuff on Facebook because Facebook has become pretty competitive and it's only getting more expensive. So we're constantly finding ways that we can sell a premium product like ours without going into the red. But we're at a point right now in our life cycle where we just want to get into as many homes as possible. Even though we're not a VC-backed company, we're fortunate to be funded by our customers. And I've had some exits in the past that have funded this to this point, but we're willing to get pretty near close to break even just to get people to try the product, because we know with our 5-year warranty results guarantee, they're going to get the results they want. We're going to get their trust. And when we come out with our toothpaste and mouthwash and floss and toothbrush and all of this, they're going to be like, yep, I want that because what I bought last time worked for me.
Okay, awesome. All right. We'll get back to the show in a minute, but first a quick thanks to our sponsor, Lead Quizzes. If you want to grow your business to 7 figures and beyond, you must learn how to generate leads predictably. When I first started my business, lead generation felt like riding a roller coaster. I would have huge sales months and then months with nothing. This happened because I relied solely on referrals and networking to grow my business. Predicting growth and investing in the future were frightening because I didn't have control over my lead generation. That was before we created Lead Quizzes. Now I predictably generate leads in my sleep and have stopped worrying about where the next sale will come from. Top marketers like Neil Patel and Lewis Howes have used Lead Quizzes to increase their lead capture by up to 500%. Think about it. Quizzes are fun, engaging, and you can offer personalized feedback in exchange for your quiz taker's contact information. Lead Quizzes is a software that allows you to set up high-converting quizzes quickly without having to hire an expensive programmer. In fact, our users have generated over 3 million leads for their businesses. Take control of your lead generation today and start your 14-day free trial by going to leadquizzes.com/podcast.
Yeah, so initially it was trying to figure out how we could get the product into as many people's hands as possible. And it started with what they call micro influencers. So anyone with 5,000 to 50,000 or even up to 100,000 followers, reaching out to them, telling them about our product and offering to send the product to them. And if they liked it, maybe they would share it on their social media. And a couple of them would say yes, every other day. So we're sending out product. And initially it's scary because you're sending out product and you're like, what if these people don't post? And so initially we were keeping tracking Google spreadsheet of people we sent it out to, when was it delivered, had they posted yet, do we have to pay them to post? And that started to snowball. So those micro influencers started to snowball. And then we started to get people reaching out to us saying, hey, I've got 25,000 followers. I was thinking of buying your product. If you could give me a discount, I'll be happy to post it if I end up liking the product. So we were giving discounts out as well, which that was even better because we could at least cover some of our costs. And they kind of had skin in the game at that point. And then things started to snowball from there where we started to reach out to much bigger influencers and celebrities, because what I realized is that Vitamin Water did it with 50 Cent, Vita Coco with Rihanna, Beats by Dre. These celebrity, Kylie Jenner's doing it with her cosmetics line. When it matches with the celebrity and it's honest and authentic, it really takes off. So we said, okay, if it's working for micro influencers, it should work for the big influencers. Now, if I would have gone back in time, I would have realized that you have to understand who your target customer is, who's going to buy, because some really good looking model who has a lot of followers, 85% of them are men, and they're not in the market right now for teeth whitening, or they're not going to see that as an authentic post for our product. So we spent a lot of money on things that we made $0 from, learning that. And so it's very important for you to go after exactly your target market is and go after the buying crowd as opposed to just the interested surfing crowd that's just looking at products but they're not interested in buying. So we've gotten better and better. We've never made a profit on any of our influencer or celebrity promotions. We always lose money. But I thought to myself, this is similar to what Nike did with Tiger Woods and Jordan and all the other brands do, and Coca-Cola and Red Bull, you name it. If we can figure out how to do this for the digital age, and if we can lose money better than all our competitors, no one can touch us. And so I've become a master at losing money. And I think that is what is going to propel us into the biggest brand in our space, is because I figured out how to lose money really well.
What does that mean?
That means thinking long term, right? So we know that we've got some edges with our team. You know, we've got engineers on our team that they haven't had a huge win in their life, and they're, you know, in their 40s and 50s and one in the early 60s, and they're ready for that big win. They're taking all their experience in the technology side to really take oral care and skincare and just flip it on its head. And so we're excited for that. And so I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking we're not going anywhere. I personally have done well enough in my previous exits and my previous companies that I've got everything I need, everything I want. So really now it's about how can I spend the next 50 years of my life really mastering an industry. And so with that mindset, I'm not thinking how much money will I make on this post or how much money will this celebrity make me? I'm thinking how little will this celebrity lose for me? And so when you start to think in that way, you become really dangerous, especially when you have decently sized pockets to be able to invest in your business. You become dangerous. The competitors are kind of scared of you because you know what you're doing. And if they try to play your game, it's very tough for them because they don't know how to lose money as well as you. So it's like gambling. I've become a professional gambler because I've obsessed over our marketing strategies and our industry that I can almost feel now with an intuition which celebrity is going to pop, which one's not. And we're okay with losing money. The reason why we're okay with losing money is because we have other distribution channels that make us profit so that we can continue buying inventory and doing this. So the losing money, the art of losing money is figuring out how to play the long game better than your competitors. And, you know, a lot of the big guys will do this. So, you know, they always say the big eat the small. I believe in the fast eating the slow. And we are moving at lightning speed that no one can keep up with us. And so that requires us to be okay with losing money. We have to have an appetite. And some days we'll lose $50,000 in a day. And we examine that and say, why do we lose $50,000 a day? But I actually get excited to lose a lot of money because I know that that's going to make us a lot of money. And it's like, we're profitable, we're growing super fast, and we're just getting started. So we're able to do that. I'm not saying day one, go out and just start losing money. That's ridiculous. But if you're thinking long term and you've got profit coming in, don't be taking money off the table. Don't be taking a salary. Don't treat it like a piggy bank. Treat your money with respect. And I think the best way to respect your money is to know when you're losing it and to know when it's okay to lose it because it's going to elevate your brand. We have Floyd Mayweather, for example, reached out to us directly. We didn't reach out to him. He saw that Conor McGregor had promoted a kind of cheap product from Australia. And Floyd was like, Conor's a knockoff of me. You know, that's how he said it. He's like, Conor's like a knockoff of me. And I want to find the real deal. I want to find a premium, legit company that works. He tried the product. He ordered himself, tried it himself, loved it, the packaging, everything. He says, this is the best ever. I'm the best ever. We need to work together. And so if I didn't have Gronk on board, Chuck, and all these other celebs on board, it would have been less likely for him to reach out to a small company to want to promote them. But when you see other celebs pushing it, like we've got so many NFL players hitting us up right now that want to be a part of our brand, ambassadors for our brand. This is stuff you can't pay for. They're not asking for money. This is stuff that people truly believe in. And the fact that we donate from every order to help children who need dental care, we've got the charity aspect really baked in. It's very important to me because I was one of those children growing up. And so all those aspects, and they see celebrities doing it, that's what's going to lead to the long-term value. And as a founder, your job is to create opportunity. And there's kind of the irony of capitalism. You have to be willing to be broke in order to build something of value. And you have to be willing to go broke. And so for me, I like to go all in. And right now we're going all in on our celebrities and everything. And it's elevated us to a point that we have some people that are reaching out to us right now. I can't even believe they're reaching out to us because they see what we're doing and it's not stopping. So momentum is very, very powerful.
Yeah, that's interesting. Josh, could you share, like, how are you choosing some of these influencers that you're paying that are costing you money and they're not like a profitable channel for you? How are you choosing who are the right ones to pick?
So you have like your micro influencers that have a really strong affinity with their audience. You know, maybe they have a fashion store of their own. We have the best affiliate program in our entire industry. We pay our customers for referrals and we pay affiliates. And the affiliates, what I realized when I started affiliate marketing over 10 years ago, it was blog owners that were affiliates. Now it's micro influencers that are affiliates and they don't get a lot of love. In other words, companies will send them free product, but they treat them like another number. And so I had this idea, if we treated every influencer, whether you had 10 million followers, 20 million followers, or 100 followers, if we treated you the same way, I believe that they would be much more loyal to us. So we treat our micro influencers the same way we treat Jennifer Lopez. They get the gold star treatment, they get free product, discounts, and then we pay them for every single sale that they drive. And so with that being said, we're looking at who hits our target audience. About 70% of our audience are female, our buyers are female. That's changing because we're doing something that very few can do or have done in our market ever, is making it okay for men to want to whiten their teeth. Before, it was kind of a little bit more of a feminine, you're kind of embarrassed to share about it. But when you see Rob Gronkowski from the New England Patriots doing it, you see Floyd Mayweather, you see Chuck Liddell, you see all these guys doing it, all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's a mouthpiece like Floyd wears when he fights. Oh, it's a mouthpiece guard like Rob wears. It's not feminine. It's actually unisex, and it's okay to have white teeth. So social media has helped with that as well. So we look at, do they have a following that we think is similar to our target audience? For us, we're more on the premium side, so we sell to a little bit of an older audience than our competitors. So we're looking at, who are they? What do they stand for? Do they have a decently good smile? And can we actually make their smile wider even so they can do before afters? And then on the big celebrity side, so you've got micro influencers, which are just call them mom and pops. You've got influencers who became famous for doing memes or funny stuff. They may have a few million followers, up to Jake Paul, Logan Paul having 10, 20 million followers. Those are famous for famous sake, like social media stars. Then you've got the Hollywood celebrities. And the Hollywood celebrities, Jennifer Lopez, all of the celebrities there, you're looking at, okay, are they in our target market? Do they speak to our target audience? Do they have a brand that's interesting to us? And how can we spin it? Like with Floyd, people either hate him, like him, or love him, right? It's the same thing with every celebrity. Everyone's got their own spikes. And so either way you look at it, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best boxers, not the best boxers in the world, uses a mouth guard. It fits for our product. He's got one of the best smiles in the whole industry there. And after fighting so much, you would think his mouth would be all messed up and teeth. He's got a great smile. He's always laughing. And he's got that like $1 million smile, the best ever. So those things matched. But we also did a collaboration with Beetlejuice, famous from the Howard Stern show, has no teeth, does not match our brand at all. But the top of mind is that this guy, Lester Green, who goes by Beetlejuice, doesn't have teeth. He's always laughing, makes you smile. And so that top of mind was still there. So we did the only promo he's ever done, ever, was with Snow Teeth Whitening. And I had so many celebrities hit us up and so many marketers, well-known, hit me up and say, that was one of the best and funniest collabs I've ever seen in my life. Props to you. And so we know that a lot of celebrities were following him. So it connected for them. So it allowed us to go out and connect other people. And by the way, the post did actually pretty well for us. And he's an ongoing ambassador for the brand with no teeth.
Very interesting. Okay. So you mentioned like you're losing money on some of these influencers. So are you basically funding the business through other channels that are profitable for you in marketing, or is it through like the money you've made in your other businesses or maybe outside investors?
Yeah. So we don't have any outside investors at all. We do have Hollywood and the celebrities that we could tap into if need be. We've got really strong credit lines and all of that, but we haven't had to tap into anything. Right now, it is primarily funded by myself from previous success and all of that, my own money, and then the customers. So we are profitable, and every dollar is going back into the next round of inventory because every next order is bigger. So you've got more cash going out, and we've got decent credit terms because of my history with some of these people that they've given us, net 60, net 90, some of them. So really good credit terms, great credit terms with our banks. But pretty much everything is between, if it's product development and new stuff, it's coming from me. If it's inventory, salaries for the employees, celebrity stuff, it's coming from the operations of the business. So the ongoing stuff. It's the risky stuff that costs millions of dollars, like this new product development, the whole line of toothpaste, everything that we're doing. I'm pulling that out of my pocket because I think it's only right that I'm investing in something that I own equity in and not having to starve the business to do that, because the business needs to continue to operate. If not, we will need outside money to fund purchase orders and all that. So I keep a pretty healthy balance. If we completely explode in a good way and we're in 500 stores overnight, then we may have to figure out where that money is going to come from. But I've been lucky enough to be successful in other business ventures, as well as the business itself being profitable.
Okay. Awesome. And I asked Josh to focus mainly on Snow this episode. So if you're interested, one of the other businesses we actually interviewed with Anthony Sarandria. So feel free to check that out on the podcast and you can understand another one of the businesses that Josh is involved in. Josh, let's go through a couple quick questions before we wrap this up. All right.
Sure.
All right. So the first one is, did you experience a time when you thought your business might fail?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Can you share?
Yeah, I think that it still goes on. I mean, in the sense of, when you're launching a new product, you're kind of worried. You're putting your baby out there into the world. You're like, are they going to like it? Did we over-engineer it? Is the price point too high? You have all this kind of like imposter syndrome that just never leaves, no matter how much money you made. I thought, it was like, once I make $10 million, I'll never have that anymore. And it still sits there. Once I make $50 million, once I have $100 million company, and I'm telling you, it does not leave, no matter how big you are. We were very successful. I'm a partner in multiple brands that do multiple 8 figures and all of this. But I think that what I realize is if you focus on the market, an existing market with existing demand, and you're creating something that's truly unique and truly a magnitude better than anything that's out there, and you listen to your customers, no ego, and you empower your team and you find the best of the best, and you just keep that cycle going, the fear of failure is only temporary because you're just like, I might fail on this step. But overall, I'm not going to fail because the market teeth aren't going anywhere. Or me and Anthony's business, consumer debt isn't going anywhere. Financial problems aren't going anywhere. The housing market's not going anywhere. So we know those markets aren't going anywhere. People still need that stuff. We just need to keep getting better. And so I never wish that things were easier. I just simply wish I was better.
Okay. Josh, what's the one thing you did that had the biggest impact on your growth with Snow?
I would say not being afraid to double down, thinking bigger. I would summon down thinking bigger. And I slap myself in the face every 6 months because I'm like, I should have thought bigger. I'm always slapping myself in the face. And initially it was really solving a pain point for myself around teeth whitening. And then we realized that we had an opportunity to continue our brand, and people loved us so much that they wanted to buy more from us. And we're like, we're being selfish by not coming out with our toothpaste, our mouthwash, and really innovating. And then the other thing was, we're never going to go to retail. Like, I never want to be in a store. And I was like, that's an injustice to our customers and to our overall goal. Our goal is to help as many people smile as possible all over the world. Then I was like, I don't want to ship internationally, too many headaches. I don't want to worry about it. We opened up international and it boosted sales almost 50% overnight because we figured out our formulas for each country that were compliant. Because I was like, every country has different compliance, blah, blah, blah. I said, wait, everyone's thinking that. So this is a competitive advantage for us to double down here. So doubling down, pulling out my own checkbook and writing the fattest checks I have to write to continue to grow and invest in my team, not being afraid to hire really good people as opposed to hiring people that aren't that good and hoping that you can train them up. I don't have time to train people personally. I need people that see the vision, that have the skill set and want to come in and change the world with me. I don't have time to train people up. And that's why we're careful even with, we've got some interns, but we're very careful with that. So I go after the very best and figure out how I can become better for them as a leader.
Okay. That's a good transition to the next question. What's been an area that you've personally had to evolve and grow in to grow your business?
Yeah, it's been around not focusing so much on competition because you can just become obsessed with looking at the competitors. And the truth is, you're only going to innovate on what's already outdated and what people may not even want anyway. And so breaking free of that, I think that's what a benefit of me not being a dentist or an oral surgeon or whatever coming into this market as a consumer has been a huge leg up because I'm not getting stuck in the weeds that even frankly, some of our advisors, which that's what they're supposed to do. And that's why they're so valuable is they do get stuck in the weeds. For me, it's been more about, no, that's not what our customers want. And then realizing that the collection of people's input is always going to evolve into a better product, but also understanding that you've got to get something out as well. So I've learned that we can continue to make our product better. We've got 50 years to master this industry, that we're in a hurry, but we're also not in a hurry. And so this version of this product, we've been in research and development over a year, but went from a drawing on a whiteboard to 5 patents later and growing to a fully mass production now we're going into within 6 months. So being super fast but also knowing when to cut the line and say, guys, putting a drone, making this thing fly is cool, but it's not going to sell anything and people really don't want that. So drawing the line is really important.
Okay. Josh, if you could go back in time and start over, what would you tell yourself?
Think bigger.
Right. Awesome. Well, this has been a really great episode, Josh. I really appreciate you coming on. Where can people go to learn more about Snow or connect with you?
Sure, you can go check it out, trysnow.com, or on Instagram, Snow Teeth Whitening. Of course, you can Google it. You'll find us there. Feel free to give it a shot. The results are guaranteed. We ship worldwide, 5-year warranty. Nothing has benefited me more than taking care of my smile. And it's kind of nice sometimes I drink so much coffee. I drink 5 cups a day right now. It's really bad. I'm really not supposed to be saying that, but I drink 5 cups of coffee. I'm Spaniard, so I love drinking my red wine. And so for me, and I'll smoke a cigar every once in a while. So for me, I'm like tied to our product because I have to keep using it because my coffee drink and all that. So go check it out, trysnow.com, Snow Teeth Whitening on Instagram. Hope you like it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks again for listening to our show this week. If you want to find out more about Snow Teeth Whitening and the lessons Josh shared today or read our show notes, visit leadquizzes.com/26. If you'd like to start generating more leads for your business and get a free trial to Lead Quizzes, go to leadquizzes.com/podcast. Next week, I'll be interviewing Brad Martineau on how he went from having both his personal and business account overdrawn to growing his marketing agency's 6th division to $3 million in sales in just 5 years. Please subscribe to our show so you don't miss this next episode. I'm Jeremy Allens, and you've been listening to Journey to 7 Figures.